How to Not Be Self-Destructive with Shebah Saturn, Tuesdays live at 11 a.m., though today it is 2 p.m. So I hope you have your tea and your coffee, and we are going to get started. Every week, I open my heart and share a topic that is close to my consciousness, something that I've been working on. And I start out every week with a live tarot card reading with my favorite deck. And after we do my live tarot card reading, I'll talk to you about a topic that's been really close to my consciousness. And that is, this week's topic is the art of listening. I've worked very intently and intensely and thought about it for a really long time. What does it really mean to listen, and how can this improve my human relationships? But also from a psychic and intuitive level, we have to be open to listening and receiving the messages from a higher source, which means that we have to be open to receiving, which is very closely related to listening. So I will start off with my tarot card reading, and we will go from there. One of the first things that I do, I hope you all are having a beautiful start to your week. It is just Tuesday. Have the music going back here. Okay. It's Tuesday, and we still have many opportunities to think about what it is that we want to do for the week. I'm working on a song. I wrote a song recently, and I'm putting the finishing touches on that. And I'm just going through my cards and making sure none of them are upside down. Last week we did something called a 4-card spread, which is a clarity spread. And this week I want to let's do a clarity spread this week. And I will show you how I do what I do. So before I divinate with the tarot, I always make sure that I'm really clear with my intentions, and that's just a good practice in general. It's just a good idea in general to be clear about what you're doing, and to have real clarity on what your desires are. That's a life principle, and it's something that we apply when we use the tarot. So what I do is I get quiet, I pray, and I ask my ancestors for help and assistance and compassion in giving me the absolute best, most honest advice with mercy and compassion. And I always ask for mercy and compassion. And I share this because I used to ask for the lessons, I just was like a glutton for wisdom a little bit. I was like, dear God, just give me all the lessons. I know that I can handle them. And I would forget to ask for mercy and for kindness and patience and compassion in my lessons, that the lessons be given to me with mercy and grace and compassion. So I always ask for the next step. What's my next step that needs to be revealed to me on my path toward my career? I'm very focused on my career right now because I made a career change. I worked in an office for some time, and then I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I'm writing and pursuing my acting and singing. So my question is, ancestors, please seal off this space with only honesty and lightness, so that may no dark can enter, only lightness. I ask for compassion and mercy in revealing to me honestly, with 100% honesty and 100% compassion, what are the next steps that I need to take in order to be successful in my career. And by success, I mean spiritual success and monetary gain. So try to be as clear as possible. The more specific that you get, the easier it is to interpret. As they say in one of the esoteric books that I read many years ago, the most essential questions get the most essential answers. So the most essential questions get the most essential answers. What are the next steps that I need to take in order to be successful in my career? As a songwriter, actress, and vocalist, as a public figure, wanting to offer value to my larger world community. What are the steps that I need to take? Please give this message to me with honesty, with reality, with a little bit of fantasy, and with compassion. Cool. So now we do the spread. Let's see. Okay. The 4-card spread looks like this. I'll show you. Those are the cards that I got. This is the major piece of advice, and these are 3 contributing factors. The major piece of advice and 3 contributing factors. Okay? On here, on Facebook Live, what I'll do is I'll screenshot it and put it in the comments below, okay? So we'll go through the cards one by one. The major piece of advice for me is the Hierophant. That's the major piece of advice, is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is actually a priest that's genderless, or rather encompasses both female and male attributes. So the Hierophant is an antiquated name to say a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide, or a priest, which I think is funny. Because I avoided that for so long, you know? So I'm going to read you the description. So the question that I asked is, what are the next steps that I need to take in order to gain success in my career as a songwriter, actress, vocalist, and a public figure wanting to serve my world community? What are the next steps that I need to take? And I asked for a clarity spread, and the first card that I got was the Hierophant, which is an antiquated word, an old word to say priest, that encompasses both male and feminine qualities. So I will read it to you. It's part of the major arcana. For those of you who don't know, there are 78 major cards, or rather, there are 78 cards in total and 22 major cards. So anytime you get a major card out of the 78, you want to pay attention. Okay, the Hierophant, mentor, seeking knowledge. In its simplest form, the Hierophant represents a mentor or a teacher. This card signifies a hunger for knowledge, whether it is in the practical or the spiritual realm. You've come as far as you can on your own, and now it's time to deepen your practice. Don't hesitate. Join a class, go to a workshop, and don't be afraid of new experiences. A new ceremony or a ritual may prove to be both comforting and rewarding. Open your heart, and your teacher will soon appear. So, what are the next steps that I need to take in order to experience success, both material and mental and financial, in my career path? And it's telling me that to open my heart and to be open to getting more educated, because I've taken myself as far as I can go right now, and that I'm going to need some guidance, some additional guidance from a mentor or a teacher. Open your heart and your teacher will soon appear. Okay, cool. I identify with that. I've had a couple new, sorry guys, that fell. I have it propped up, but I've had a couple new people come into my life, so we'll see. And then we have the 3 contributing factors. So the 3 contributing factors, one of the factors is the Son of Pentacles. I get a lot of masculine cards because I tend to be a little bit more directive and into control. Oh man, did I never start this? That's crazy. I'm on Facebook Live and I forgot to start. Oh man. Okay, well, hey, it is what it is. So the next card is the Son of Pentacles. And the Son of Pentacles is masculine energy that can be trusted, but sometimes is a little awkward, which I definitely identify with. And I'll read it to you. So the question is, what are the next steps that I need to take in order to be successful in my career, both spiritually and monetarily, as an actress, a songwriter, and a vocalist? The Son of Pentacles. So the first piece of advice, which was the major piece of advice, is for me to open my heart and to know that I've gone as far as I can on my own, and I'm going to need to be aware of this, paying attention to the signs, because the teacher will appear. Loyal, quiet, and dedicated. The good side of the Son of Pentacles is that he's loyal and determined. He's inventive and he can be trusted wholeheartedly. But sometimes this figure becomes stubborn and persistent to a fault. This, combined with his quiet nature, results in his being getting hard to know and can sometimes be socially awkward. That is accurate. 110%. He commonly has only one or two close friends rather than many. That is also accurate. So the Son of Pentacles, the good side is that the Son of Pentacles is loyal and determined and inventive and can be trusted wholeheartedly. That's true. I definitely was given a gift, and one of the gifts that I've been given is that my heart is pure. And I feel that that's been passed down to me from ancestors and all the hard work that my ancestors did in order to cultivate that purity and that integrity. So that's definitely a gift. It definitely is generational wealth. My spiritual inclination, my open heart. So I've just got to be aware of being less socially awkward and remind myself not to be stubborn and persistent to a fault. That's interesting because I was up, I wrote a new song and I was up editing it till like 5 in the morning because I wanted to get it right. And it's still not where I want it to be, but it's getting there. The next card is Justice. I'll show you. This is the card of Justice. Remember, this is a 4-card clarity spread. It's the card of Justice. Justice is one of the 22 major cards. So it's very important when you pull major cards to give them an understanding, to give them just a little bit more time and attention. So Justice, decisions, and karma. With tails entwined, 2 cats look directly at you, waiting for you to choose between what is right and what is wrong. The Justice card implies a weight or a heaviness surrounding a choice you have to make. Now is not the time to shun the divine concept of justice, balance, or karma. All of your choices affect your life, and sometimes the lives of those around you, both now and in the future. Now is not the time to shun the concept of divine balance or karma, decisions, and karma. So I'll be aware that on my path towards success in my career, as of right now, I'll have to make some decisions that may be tough, that may be more about divine justice than human justice. So human justice is based on contrasting thinking and a dichotomous paradigm. And I know that's a lot of words, but dichotomous just meaning black and white, black or white thinking, oppositional thinking. And sometimes higher consciousness has a way of figuring things out for us in a manner that makes no sense to our human mind, but from a more divine, higher source, it is justice. It is just. So the cards are asking me to be aware of the difference between divine justice and human justice. So, okay. And then there's a card that has a little bit of sadness, which, to be honest with you, anytime you're growing and getting to a new level is going to be some difficult times. So that's to be expected. The question that I asked was about my career. So the 5 of Cups, there's grief and disappointment. Of course, it's always how it is. Anytime I've ever been on set, anytime I've been a part of a creative project, worked on production, and ever done anything that was worthwhile, there was some degree of grief and disappointment they had to overcome in order to make this creative process come to life. So, 5 of Cups, grief and disappointment. The 5 of Cups indicates a time of sorrow. A relationship might fall apart, or an old friend could slip away. There will be disappointment and even regret. When this card appears, it's important not to make any hasty decisions. It may also be helpful to look at the type of expectations that you place on others. Perhaps they can never do enough to please you. So be aware that a relationship, and that's the reality of life. As you continue to progress and as you continue to write your chapters that you've always wanted to write and go after your dreams, and you decide to be awake and stay awake, there are some people that are not going to be able to join you on your journey, and it is sad. I've had some friends since I was in 2nd grade. I don't let go very well. I'm like, well, how can we redefine this relationship so that I can still have you in my life because I love you? How can we creatively figure this out? But I suppose that sometimes that's not always what needs to happen. Sometimes you just need to let things go. Peace. Thanks for joining. Sometimes you just need to let things go. Yeah. So this was a very interesting spread this morning. I asked, what are the steps that I need to take in order to be successful in my career as in the field of entertainment? And it's so interesting because I'm very spiritually driven. It's not anything that I chose. At some point, I'll tell you, when I was younger, I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in astrology. I didn't believe in any of this. And then it just sort of like smacked me in the face, and my higher consciousness, my ancestors, and the source, which I call God, respect to whatever name you use, was like, no, you have a gift and I have a mission for you. And I don't care how intensely you try to deny the gift that you've been given, your ancestors have sacrificed in order for you to exist, for you to be here, and I need you to do this work. And then I started studying astrology, numerology, and the tarot, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Why is this right? This is wild. This doesn't make any sense because it wasn't logical. But those of you who study spirituality and who are spiritual people know that spirituality it defies human logic. It defies all rational boundaries, and that made me very confused and intrigued at the same time. So what answers did the cards give me today? I asked the cards about my career. What are the next steps that I need to take? I always ask for compassion and mercy in all ways when this information is delivered to me, because I'm sensitive. And it said that I must be aware that open my heart. There may be a spiritual teacher. I've gone as far as I can go on my own in this regard right now. I want to open my heart to taking a class and getting educated, taking a workshop, and continue to grow. That's the biggest thing. That was card number 1, which means that it's the most important card. So seek out knowledge and education. Be aware that I can be stubborn to a fault and socially awkward. Be aware that there may be a situation where it's just based on divine justice and not human justice, so it may be a little confusing for me. Make right decisions and be aware of the law of karma. And also be aware that on my road to success, I will experience grief and disappointment. And sometimes those relationships need to slip away in order for me to continue on the path. So this was my tarot card reading. I do it every Tuesday, usually at 11 a.m., today at 2 p.m., because I was up editing a song. And the next thing is I talk about a weekly topic, something that I have learned that I feel compelled to share with you. And this week, we are talking about listening. Another way to say this is the art of paying attention. Many years ago, I was going on a tour with a mentor, college tour, and one of the professors told me, pay attention to your attention. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But it was so easy to remember, and it was so profound that I'll answer that. That's a cute question. I'll answer all those questions at the end because I want to talk about this listening thing. So the professor told me, pay attention to your attention, and it was so easy to remember, and it was such a play on words that I kept that with me my whole life. Flash forward to May last year. I had just worked on the set of Doom Patrol with Diane Guerrero and Matt Bomber and all of these actors, and it was really amazing to see the level of attention that they had in being in the moment, being in the present moment. And I said, wow, that's amazing. I wonder how they got there, how to master it. And I started reading a book, and it was called The Artist's Way. And in The Artist's Way, there's an entire chapter and many paragraphs devoted to the art of listening. See, as artists, what we do is we receive. And in order to receive, our channel has to be clear. One of the strategies that's really worked for me, that's helped me learn how to listen and be present, is to hyper focus on details. So like right now, if I'm hyper focusing on details, I'm seeing that there is my vision board in the back of me. I'm seeing that I've painted all of these visions and I have my name written there. I have all my cards. I have ancient knowledge from different books that empower me. I have my piano. I have, my husband has his chime there. I see all of the lace on my shirt. I see my earrings. I see my eyeliner. I see my ring, the first ring that my husband had made for me. I see my freckles. I see my freckles. I see my tarot cards. I see this cup. And I see you all, beautiful people. Now, on the one hand, it's so easy to dismiss that and say, okay, well, so what? You see these things. But unconsciously, what's happening is that you are now in the present moment. You're now in the present moment. And this is the strategy that the book said. It said, in order for you to have a divine experience as an artist, you have to pay attention. And one of the ways that you pay attention is that you are aware of all of the details in the present moment. Like my eyes are looking very intensely right now. I'm very aware of that. And that will keep you in the moment so that you can be present. Another way is to be aware of your five senses. So, for example, if you have a partner and you're in the middle of an embrace, right? In order for you to be there, because our world is so complex and detailed, and there's often so much pressure that we have that sometimes even in just little simple moments of affection or in a conversation, we're not really present. And one of the ways that you can do that is to be aware of your five senses. So like if I, for instance, am having a difficult time being present, I can go and let's say my husband's there and I'm giving him a hug and I'm paying attention to his smell. I'm paying attention to my heart rate, how I feel. I'm paying attention to his cheeks. I'm paying attention to his eyes. I'm paying attention to his lips. And I'm in that moment adoring every aspect of what's going on, knowing that each moment is new and I'm never going to get it back. And one of the ways that I've learned to be present is to pay attention to the details. So pay attention to your attention. This helps with listening, also breathing. Because very often, I used to have trouble with racing thoughts, and it's because I was letting my mind control me. I used to think that the intellect was the highest iteration of human expression. And I realize now that art is, and soul is the highest iteration of human expression operating from your soul, which means you have to subdue the intellect, because the mind will get in the way and tell you all kinds of things that are just not true. Like, oh, you shouldn't work out today. Oh, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. That sucks. Don't try that, right? So that's letting the mind rule you. But in this book, The Artist's Way, one of the authors shares that her grandmother used to write her these really beautiful letters just talking about the garden. Oh, I see in front of me the most beautiful evergreen tree, and I see the shapes of the leaves. Actually look like marijuana plants. They're not, I don't smoke anymore. And I see the bark and the beauty of the bark, and I imagine the texture and how it feels underneath my fingers. And I see a cute little chubby squirrel, the same little chubby squirrel that is on the bench every morning. And she realized after a time that it was her grandmother's strategy of being in the moment and staying present was to focus on details. So, on your path toward the art of being a better listener, one of the things that you can do is focus on every detail in the present moment, and it helps to reduce anxiety, and it helps to really, for you to really be more of who you are. Because if you're stuck in your head and you're not really listening and paying attention, how can you live a meaningful life? You can't live a meaningful life that way, right? You have to be here in order to read the signs and respond. If all situations are divine, you have to be here. You have to be present. So, that is my advice for this week. I do have a new song coming out. If you have any questions, write them below. I'll stay on for a couple more moments. Subscribe. My husband's in the background. He's like, tell them to subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's more coming. I have a new video, hopefully. I have a song that I recorded. So this past weekend, and I've been working on it for 2-3 weeks. And I'm gonna get there. I'm teaching myself how to produce and how to engineer. Just not because my goal is to be an engineer, but just because I feel like it's important to have that language and to get in the trenches and really understand on a very basic level how to record myself and how to do these things. Thank you. Love your positive energy too. One of my friends on Facebook just said, I love your positive energy. So I want to learn the basics, just so that I can have a lexicon and a language to be able to communicate with engineers and producers when I go into a booth. And I also learned that Missy Elliott records herself all the time. She doesn't allow anybody in the room. So that is my goal. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will be coming out with a new song. I did have someone ask a question. They asked, what is my favorite food? Well, it's very easy. I love Ethiopian food. It's my favorite. I love Mexican food too, but I really, really love Ethiopian food. So thanks for that question. Does anybody else have any other questions before I go? Have you guys checked out my song, Rough Day? The link is in my bio. Thank you guys. Okay, so we are going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining. Please send to people who you think could benefit from the tarot reading that we did today on career. And please send to people who you think could benefit from this weekly topic, the art of listening. How did you bring this all into your music? Oh, okay. So you guys know I'm a big nerd when it comes to esoteric sciences. And music itself is a spiritual endeavor, as communicated through Prince and many other people. So music actually used to be considered one of the 7 original sciences, along with astrology. Astrology is the grandfather or grandmother of astronomy. And so, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to sing. And I always just wanted to sing to heal the world. That's what was my prayer. Like, dear God, I love you so much. I was like a very oversensitive, so sad often. And if you could just let me sing, I would heal the world. So, and astrology, numerology, and the tarot is about healing. So, astrology, numerology, and the tarot is about healing, and music is about healing. And so, I do the best that I can to use the esoteric principles to push me forward in my work. And I'm sure that it does come out. This next song that I have is very meditative, and I hope that you will enjoy it. Please share with your friends and subscribe. This has been How to Not Be Self-Destructive with Shebah Saturn. Peace.